Um, well, hello, Alejandra. Thank you for coming
Hi.
on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I had found out that you had your own ASMR channel, so that's what like got me interested. Like, sure, you know what? Hopefully, you can educate me and talk about it because I have no idea. I've only seen it on TikTok Live. I've
Oh
never
yeah.
really seen it. Definitely, it's not on any of my algorithms on YouTube or any of the social media platforms. But when I see it on Instagram Live, no, sorry, on TikTok Live, there's a big following on there. There's a lot of people,
Mm.
and they're just in their room, just quiet. They have their like usually they'll have their iPhone with the mic on the side, and then they're just touching things. So it always tripped me out. It doesn't make me feel comfortable listening to it. That's why I've
Yeah.
never like I guess it's just the complete opposite of what
Mhm.
it's meant for.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, what got you into doing that?
Oh my God. I don't even know where to begin with that. Basically, I was just watching it a lot.
Hmm.
Like it was basically the only kind of content that I would watch for the longest time. I started watching it on YouTube though. And so that was all I was consuming for the longest period of time. And it got to the point where I would go to a store and I would just tap on everything. Like I would just tap on things. I would try to see like how they sounded. Like I don't know, I was just like curious about that. And then one day I just started my channel because I sort of had the idea of it already in my head for quite some time,
Uh,
and then I just jumped into it and started my channel.
Dang.
Yeah.
What was like your first video that you wanted to do?
Basically, um, I wanted to. I don't even know. I don't even know if I had planned it out to be honest because it was so like just like last minute. Like I just kind of decided one moment like, yeah, let me do it. And so the first video I ever did was literally me just at my desk at home and then just touching, making sounds with different things that I had on my desk.
Hmm.
And like that was it. Like there was no plan, no like thought behind it. I just did it.
Yeah. Damn. So
Yeah.
now you're a little bit more elaborate, right? You said you have to like set everything up and it takes a lot longer.
Yeah, so now I have a camera that I use and I have my Blue Yeti because, like, when I first started, I just used my phone and I used the mic on my earphones and, like, that was it. But then once I kind of realized, like, oh, I kind of want to keep doing this, I did buy those upgrades. And so yeah, now I use that, and now it just takes so much longer to film one video. And I think also I'm just like a perfectionist now too. I think at the in that moment I kind of wasn't even thinking about that, but now I have like a standard now that I
Mm.
have to meet, and if I don't meet it, I'm not happy.
Oh wow. Do you ever listen to like your videos, or no? You just post and
Yes,
done.
I do. Like I don't know if it's like conceited of me, but like I like watching my own videos sometimes just because like I don't know why. Like it doesn't even relax me to like
Oh
watch
okay.
myself. It's more of like, oh, I just want to see. Like
Okay.
I don't know, I'm just curious.
No, I get you. What
Yeah.
were you gonna say?
I don't know.
Oh,
Nothing.
so you don't use it, but do you listen to other people like other like
Yes.
what are the
Yeah.
big popular ones?
Oh my God. So I actually don't listen to a lot of the popular ones because I kind of find that the worse quality it is, the better for me at least.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone. Like everyone has a different experience with ASMR. Obviously, these popular creators are popular for a reason, but I don't usually like the popular creators very much. I could list off some of my favorites
Yeah.
though, some of the ones that I've been watching lately. But you know what's interesting is that once I started my channel, I actually stopped getting tingles. So I don't know if you've heard of the term tingles before.
No.
So basically, like people who experience ASMR, they get tingles, and usually that's a feeling that kind of like starts from like the spine. It's like this tingly sensation that we get with these sounds. And when I started my channel, I actually stopped getting tingles from other creators because before I used to get tingles all the times from like watching these videos. They would help me fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not the same. Now I kind of watch it just to like chill out and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but it's not really about getting the tingles anymore for me at least. So well, one of the bigger creators that I do enjoy still is ASMR Planet. She's cool. There's Rose ASMR, ASMR Fleer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. KO ASMR, Ashley Marie ASMR. A lot of them are women.
Is it like male or female dominant?
I think it is,
Okay.
yeah. I also don't get tingles from men.
So you get them from women? Is it
Yeah,
because of their voice or just
I
their?
think so. It's their voices, and I haven't seen a male ASMR artist that has given me tingles yet, at least.
When you
I
say
don't know.
tingle, it just trips me out. Like there's words, there's terms for it. Like you had said, like triggers. Can you
Yeah,
go like
triggers.
people's triggers or this triggers? Like, can you explain more on that,
Yeah.
please?
So triggers are basically the stimuli that give us the tingles. So for me, so for me, one of my like biggest triggers that I enjoy listening to is just whispering, and especially if they're like really close to the mic. Like those that will sometimes give me tingles. And so that's my favorite trigger, and that is my favorite trigger to do even on my own channel. Other triggers can be plastic sounds, like crinkly sounds. Um, Slime sounds is also a trigger. Mouth sounds, that is also a thing. I cannot relate to that. I have never enjoyed mouth sounds, but there is a huge audience for that. Mouth sounds, even kiss sounds. Like people are into that. And then,
Like kissing each other or kissing objects?
um, that's a good question. No, it's usually like people are kissing the air,
Oh, okay,
kind
like
of.
making the noise.
Yeah, like
Okay,
the noise, yeah.
alrighty. Damn.
So that, and just like any sound you can think of, it's probably someone's trigger that gives them the ASMR feeling, I guess.
That's great. So, like with your significant other, like, do you tell them like, have you ever told them like, oh, can you whisper in my ear?
So I don't have a significant other, but if I did, I actually don't usually ask for that because I usually don't get it
Okay.
in person, especially like, I don't know, it's hard to explain it. It's very confusing because like if I tell someone like, "Oh, whisper into my ear," I don't get tingles.
Okay.
But if it's like unexpected,
I
I
get you.
might get tingles. Like if they kind of just if it just happens, I might get tingles cuz like my first ASMR experiences as a child, they were like that. They were like people whispering into my ear that I didn't ask them to whisper into my ear, but they just did, and I remember that getting that tingly sensation like all over my body.
So you try to do that, like you you're trying to create that experience for others.
Basically, yes.
Oh, okay. So that's, I wouldn't say that's like your purpose or like the goal that you're trying to do because it's more of a passion, like you enjoy doing it. But it's
Yeah.
also like a bonus that you're also, you know, giving the other people others tingles.
Yes, yes, it really is. And I've actually said that in like some of my videos where I just talk about random shit and like I'll tell like my audience like this is a win-win for the both of us because you guys get the tingles and I'm here talking about whatever I want to talk
Yeah.
about. And so yeah, like it's cool that, you know, it is my hobby. And it's cool that it can help people relax or like fall asleep because that's usually why people watch ASMR is for those two reasons.
To fall asleep, what do they normally like? What do you listen to fall asleep? Or you say you don't have it anymore, huh?
I don't really get it anymore, the tingly sensation, which means that I also don't usually fall asleep to ASMR anymore, but I do listen to it sometimes to just help me like calm down like when I'm settled in bed and stuff. And my favorite videos are usually just videos where people are whispering about whatever. It could honestly be anything about books, jewelry, makeup, like anything like that. I'm really into. I also like videos where people are like playing with hair. That is also like one of the triggers that I like, but I'm super specific about it because when it's like a wig, I don't really enjoy it. But when they're actually playing with like a real person, it's like a different, like it's so different. I don't know why. I also like something, this is like so random, but I like accents a lot. Like when there's like this one person, like I think her name is Female ASMR. I think that's her channel name. But she is either German or Russian, I don't remember. But she has like an accent and I love it. Like I don't know why, like it just adds something to it.
And then, like for the wigs, is it because you know it's a wig, or is it like you can hear the difference?
I think that's a good question. Um, I think I just know that it's a
Mm,
wig, and it's usually like when it's a person, it's just like the way that people treat the person versus a wig is like different.
I get
It's
you.
like more calming, like more gentle, and I think that helps. Like I like those. Those are like visual triggers. Like
Yeah.
those are I like the visuals in those videos and not just the sounds.
Is is like raindrops ASMR too? Like hearing raindrops, or that's different?
I would say it probably is.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because that's my wife. She like likes to listen to raindrops to go to sleep.
Mm.
Not every night, but that's when like I remember doing that. I'm like, it's actually pretty peaceful. But I
Yeah.
didn't know that that was. I mean, I don't think it's considered. Definitely not. Do you hear? So back to like content. So there's people who read books, like full books, whispering,
I've
or
seen
like just touching
some.
the pages.
I've seen people who read like full books, and then I see people who do like book hauls or like book reviews, and then that usually includes like showing the book, tapping on the book, flipping through the pages. I actually just filmed a book related video last night, and that's what I did was like I kind of just tapped on it and I flipped through some pages. And then I also I filmed like like me showing the book, but I also filmed a flip through the book so people could see the books close up and like just better,
Mm,
which I'll be adding like on top of what I filmed. So
jeez.
yeah.
What's like the most popular ASMR?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't really know.
From what I've seen like on the
Um,
lives, just like objects, I guess, like touching objects, but definitely whispering, like whispering and
yeah,
touching objects at the same
yeah,
time.
whispering. Mouth sounds is also pretty popular.
Mat sounds,
Mouth,
mouth sounds.
mouth
Okay.
sounds, yeah. Um, yeah, because I remember I don't do mouth sounds anymore on my channel, but when I did do them, those videos would get a lot of views.
Hmm.
But also, there's like that, kinky side to it. So,
That you try not to tap into,
not anymore.
like to get it for yourself or to get that attention from like your followers or audience.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like to trigger something with yourself. Like I know that if I continue to go down this road, like it'll like lead into something else, or is it more like I just don't want to attract that audience?
I don't want to attract that
Okay,
audience. Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
you.
because like I used to do it before because I did care about the numbers. I cared about how many subscribers I had, the views, and I knew that was a popular trigger. And so I would do them to like please people and to get like new people to follow me. But now I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I really don't care. And so I just do what I enjoy, and mouth sounds was one of those triggers that I just never enjoyed. Like every time I would film one of those videos, it like 10 minutes of filming would feel like 30 minutes for me. Like it just felt so long, it was so boring. And I really like whispering in my videos because that's the fun part. It's kind of like talking to a friend, like that's how I see it. That's how I've always seen my channel is like talking to a friend. And so once I do things that don't feel like that, it kind of loses the fun for me.
Definitely. And usually you usually can tell when someone's doing it for fun instead of like they have to do it. Because then it
Yeah.
feels more genuine. It's like, oh shoot. It's not even, it's like subconscious stuff. You're not really like picking at the video like, oh no, they're doing this because they have to. So, and then also, of course, on your end, it's like a passion. So like you end up putting a little bit more effort into like the little details that you probably notice. Like I don't mind going out of my way to do that because like it's just fun for me instead of the numbers game, which you do get stuck. So like when you did realize, like what made you realize like I'm kind of getting obsessed with the attention of their views and the numbers?
You know what's interesting is that I took a very long break from YouTube for a while. And during that time that I took a break was when I realized that I was caring too much about views and numbers and stuff. It's kind of like a long story too because even before that time, I had given up on making it like a full time career. So I had given up on making it a full time career because I did try for a very short time, try to see like where my channel could take me, but I quickly realized that when I saw it as a business, it lost the fun. Like it just wasn't fun anymore. But I still cared about the numbers. Even though it was just a hobby, it would really bother me seeing a video that I put so much effort into only get like less than 1,000 views or something.
Yeah.
It's a bum, and it's still a bummer, you know, like that feeling doesn't go away. Um, but during this break that I took from YouTube, which I wasn't even planning for that, it just kind of happened. But I think part of it was also I'm a huge perfectionist, and I remember trying to film videos and feeling like so much pressure and like just having to make this perfect video. And it was, and so I would keep trying and like fail all the time. I was just never happy with the content I was making. And then sometimes I would post it, and then after posting it, I absolutely hated it and would just delete it. So it was like this cycle of just doing that for the longest period of time. And in that cycle, I've kind of just stopped caring. I was like, this is not fun. Like putting this like amount of pressure for like no valid reason on something that I just love, you know, like it just seemed really silly. And so I just kind of decided to take my time with it. And I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna wait till it feels right. And that's what I ended up doing. And so finally, like this summer, I kind of feel like I'm back in the groove of things where I'm like actually pumping out content that I like. I'm not being too harsh with myself. I'm like taking my time. I'm not putting like too much pressure on myself. And now I really don't care about the numbers. Like I said, it still sucks to see like a video you work on get like 500 views or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's I think like human nature. Like it's gonna suck, but I also don't really reflect on it that much. I don't let it linger. I'm kind of like, you know what? Who cares? At the end of the day, for me, what really makes me happy are the comments. If my video got 0 comments, that would be different. I would be very depressed.
Yeah.
But I really like the comments that I get. People are just so nice. And like I said, like when I film a video, I feel like I'm talking to a friend. And so when I get like feedback or comments, people sharing their own experiences or whatever, that really makes me feel like my video was like so worth it.
Okay. Yeah, like there's a community
Yes.
that you're tapping into. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's the fun part.
Damn. I keep forgetting, like I'm so used to my bubble of like the content that I make that like I do see other content out there, but I never really pay attention. Like there's actually a community, even though I see the number that's like, or the passion that they have for it. It's like, damn, I keep forgetting there's a whole community, like furries and stuff, and that's what brought up because of like what we always talk about, like with the a mascot. So that's where we're like, oh shoot. And with Thomas there, now it's connected with Thomas.
Poor Thomas.
Yeah. Okay. So, quick question for you. How do you organize your like work-life balance and making content?
Oh my gosh. I think I'm still trying to figure that out.
Well, I mean, I see you. I'll let you finish, but I see you like use your calendar a lot
Yeah, my planner. Yeah,
or
my
planner.
planner
Sorry.
is my life. Without my planner, I would feel naked. I would feel lost.
So the you're
Um,
so you're the second person I talked to about that says that, and they actually, you guys are the most efficient, and you guys are really effective at what you guys do at work. And I'm starting to see like it's because you're a little bit more organized, where it's a planner or like the Google calendar.
mhm.
So I'm like, I'm still trying to make that jump into it's just discipline. But go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think a thing that helps for me is that I also am really good at keeping like mental notes. I think that's something I've noticed like at work is that not everyone is built like me.
Hmm.
Like someone will tell me something once and I'll usually just remember it. Like you don't have to tell me twice. But I know that some other people are not like that. And I'm just that kind of helps, I guess. But yeah, I do have my planner where I write down like everything, like even personal plans usually go on the planner, like literally everything's in there. And I usually, since we just started September, this weekend I did like my September plan, my monthly plan, and then every Sunday I usually do my weekly plan for the coming week.
So that's your routine?
That's my routine. Yeah, that's
Okay.
usually my planning routine. Obviously, things change throughout the week and stuff. And when I work remotely, it could get a little tough.
Yeah.
It could get a little tough, but that's usually because I struggle with like motivation, with like self
Mm.
motivation. And so that's usually like where my struggle lies. But it's not because I'm not like, I don't know what to do or there's no plan. It's just like finding the motivation to actually do it.
What's usually distracting you, like Netflix or
Oh my God, just, I
YouTube?
mean, I'm mentally ill, Andrew.
Oh,
I,
go on.
I, I, so like first off, I'm so lucky to have the job that I have because it allows for for those bad days. So I do have depression and
Mm.
anxiety, and so a lot of times I really do struggle getting out of bed. Like that is the number one thing. So if you like ever see me like start the day late, it's probably because of that. Um, so I'm very privileged that I have a job where I kind of don't have a schedule for the most part. There are some days where I do have to come in early or whatever, but for the most part, I make my own schedule and I feel so lucky to have a job like that. Um, but yeah, that is really like it. Like I just struggle getting out of bed sometimes because of depression.
Mm.
and and yeah, that could really like fuck up a whole day for me. Just being in that mindset and on that particular day or week or whatever. And it's not usually a distraction of like, oh, of Netflix, like you said, or
Mm.
like anything else. It's just trying to, like I said, like just finding the motivation, really.
Do you get like in pockets of it, or it's just like one day it'll happen, or like
Oh, I can't predict that.
oh, okay.
It's very much different, like all the time. Like there are some days where it just hits me like one day, right? And I kind of power through it. But there are some days where it's a longer period of time. Like I have weeks where I just feel completely down, and it's very, very hard to start my day or like find motivation. And a lot of times, like I work at night for that reason
Mm.
because I can't get out of bed, and so I end up like sleeping, right? Because I'm like I just have no energy, like no will for anything. And so I just sleep, and then by the time it's like 7 p.m., I'm like, now I have like the energy to actually do things.
Okay.
And then that's when I'm most productive. And then it's also convenient because that's when I could also film ASMR.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just depends, I unfortunately can't predict it. There are some times where I kind of foresee it, where I'm like, oh, because like, I don't know if
No, I'm
I don't
listening.
know like if you've ever heard of post-event blues, but
No.
that's a thing, okay? Like I found out working at the job that I work right now,
Uh-huh.
I've learned about post-event blues because at the first event that I ever planned, it was like a huge event, my first big event that I planned. And it was great. It was wonderful. I was stressed up until then, right? And then the next day, I just fell. Like I felt like crap. And I just felt so depressed. Like I was like, oh my God, like it was almost like I didn't even have like a purpose in life. I
Mm-hmm.
was like just feeling lost. And then I looked into it because I was like, what happened? Like everything was good. The event was a success. Why am I feeling this way? And then it was in this research that I found about post event blues, which apparently is a thing. So, like, when you have a big event, you basically have all this like adrenaline, right? And then when it's all done, it just like falls. And so it affects your mental health. And that is something I still experience. Like, I experienced it this summer with the event that I planned. I felt very down, like, afterwards. Even after my vacation that I took in July, I still felt like crap because I had this feeling of, like, oh my God, like, what else can I offer to the department? Like, it just makes you feel like that's all your life is for like a moment. And so yeah, that is a thing.
And
It's
then how do you fix that, or what's like a way to help with that? Just work on the next thing
I
immediately,
think
or
yeah, like and it's so crappy.
yeah,
Like
it's like a
I
cycle.
I remember like when I came back from my vacation, I was feeling really down and I was feeling like I needed to be productive to be a worthy human being. And I remember thinking and like stopping and thinking like that is so fucked up. Like why do I have to like be productive? Why do I have to be working my ass off to feel like a worthy human being? Like that is ridiculous. And so I'm aware like that's a terrible mindset, but unfortunately like I'm still kind of in that like okay like in that cycle I guess like I mean I feel like a lot of people feel that way.
Definitely.
It's like I don't know,
I
I like to blame capitalism but I
Yes, we can. I'm in the same boat as like I get the same thing. I wouldn't say with events. Maybe like sometimes with shoots, like for the video production, like okay,
mm,
we're scheduled this shoot that we booked, and then once it's done, it's like, fuck, man, it's like already gone. Like last year, we
mm,
had at this time, yeah, we closed a deal for a pumpkin patch. So they had like 12 locations. So we ended up closing them. Like it was one of our biggest deals that we've done. And then going to well, we went to 7 after all locations. So going to like 3 locations in Vegas, like knocking those out within like 48 hours or 24 hours in one day. And then like after that, it was just kind of like, fuck, man, like it's done already. Like we already filmed everything.
mm,
And so that's one part where I get like that. And then for me, it's like I'll make content that hits like 1 million views, and then it's like I'll put something else out, and it just doesn't get the same. And it's like, yeah, now I'm worried about the numbers, but it's like that's because the clients they're the ones that care about the numbers or engagement.
mm,
So it's kind of like, okay, or if this client, if a video does good here, and then this one like I've been struggling to get like hit 1 million, and then another one hits 1 million or it doesn't, like it's almost there. It's like the million mark, even though like 800K is good still, it's like that million mark that people just like that badge. So I
mm,
like to provide, it's like I know I can get there, so it's like a challenge, like how can I get you there, how can I get that for you guys?
mm,
And then it's just like it eats at me all the time, like fuck, and it gets me in depressed, like what the what the hell am I doing wrong? Like I'm
mm,
trying to get to that to get so I get into those I wouldn't say depression, but like I just get in my own head, but like fuck, you're not good. Like, and then I get into like I just don't produce as much, or but usually when I do produce or make real good content, it's like when I'm just let's just film, let's just have fun, and that's usually like those videos are the ones that really do good because I don't know, I guess just the energy that I put into them, like it just becomes natural instead of forced. Um, so yeah, I do get it, and I think maybe because the one thing that I guess we both like have in common is where like we don't really care about the views, where it's like finally like we can just separate it and have to like not, you know, how do you say it, like get the approval from views or like the attention. So I think maybe we have to, or at least for me, I can speak for myself, apply that same concept to like shooting big events, like for the blues post. What is it?
The post-event
Post
blues.
event blues. Yeah, same thing. It's like I shouldn't care. Like I don't know. At least for me, I'm not speaking for you whatsoever. Like I need to start thinking like that. Like same thing you bring to for these views. Like it's all right. Like you can move on from it. You just work on the next thing, or whenever it does come up, it's like, all right, the next shoot. Just move on to the next shoot. Don't worry about it. Like it's nothing bad. I don't know.
That's definitely true. I've definitely have had to, like at work, remind myself like no one's gonna die, like if I don't do this or if this happens. Like I always think like if I am doing the most important work ever, and then but it's not. Like it really isn't. Like at the end of the day, the world isn't gonna end if I just stop or take a break or whatever.
I think what does suck too also is like how you feel like we feel like our job is important, so we try to, share it sometimes with our family members or friends, and they're just like, oh yeah, okay, that's nice, okay, cool, and it's like, bitch, like I'm opening up to you because it's something I'm proud of. Like it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like for your job, definitely what you do is not easy whatsoever. So it's kind of like you trying to explain to whoever you, and then oh yeah, you do events, and it's like oh that's pretty cool. You set everything up. You have a planner and all that. Like they're not being condescending, but they just don't really see like how important it is. But I guess
Right.
it's like I feel like that sounds narcissistic. Like you need to know how important it is. But it's like I'm just opening up to you. But if you knew, I guess no one's really gonna know what we go through with our own jobs. Because my wife
Yeah.
tells me like the nursing and stuff, and I'm just like, don't worry, you'll move on. But like she probably is going through it like, so, so I'm not just speaking it out loud. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm doing the same thing.
I like with my family, I barely talk about my job because I feel like I do so many different things that it's really hard to describe it to them. Especially my parents, they only speak Spanish,
Mm,
I and like I've tried to, and I always feel like they're just confused
mm,
about what exactly I do. They actually went to the last event that I did, which made me really happy because I was like, oh, finally they're seeing something that I did. Because I feel like they've always been very confused.
yeah,
And so it was kind of nice to be like, oh yeah, this was what I did, like
yeah.
um so that was cool. But yeah, I don't really talk about the woes of my work with other people because yeah, it's just I do so much. It's like where do I even begin? And yeah.
And it's also stressful. Like you're already stressing on it at work, and then trying to like bring that same stress to someone else. It's kind of hard. It's like I
Yeah.
don't want to burden with you with all this, because then I'm gonna
Right.
stress even more when this
Right.
is like my time to separate.
Right.
Which I was
Yeah.
telling you earlier. Like I have a hard time separating like work, because I don't really see it as work. As corny as that sounds, like I just don't see it as work. I'm just making content everywhere I go, and I just get paid for people like just do that same thing, just replace it with this business or this field. So taking going home, it's like I'll get an idea when I'm hanging out with the family, and it's like, oh, that's pretty good for college or the dealership or video production or um, color matching or landscaping, like literally all these other like accounts that I have to consider. And then in the moment, my wife gets upset because she sees me thinking. It's like she knows, like she asked me, oh, what are you thinking about? And I would say nothing, but she knows like it's about work. So it's like you're not. It's kind of hard for you to be in the moment with us, where it's like you're always having to think about other things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's disassociating, or is it just disconnecting? Like work and like friends or family is
Mm-hmm.
really hard.
Yeah.
At least for me, it's
It
definitely
it
hard.
definitely can, especially with like social media, because before I started doing what I'm doing now, I was the social media manager, and this is like years ago, right? And I remember feeling that way. It was very hard to separate the two, and especially because I was managing like all of these accounts, and I always felt like I needed to be on. Like I feel like I couldn't turn off from that because I was always like, oh shoot, like what if this happens?
Hmm.
We also got hacked during the time that I was a manager. It was a crazy time. This is in 2020. And that was like another thing. Like we got hacked and it like grew this like fear of like, oh crap, like I just need to check like all the time. Need to be constantly on, even like in on holidays. Like I just never felt like I took a legit break when I was a social media manager. So, yeah.
Well, definitely like there's pros and cons. Like the pros, I would say, you know, you start building like a better skill at it because you start learning shortcuts and better ways to get your job done better.
Mm-hmm.
While like on work and outside of work, the bosses are happy, or the people that you know you're doing the accounts for are happy. It's like, dang, you're really going out of your way, but it's like you're sacrificing a lot at home, which
Mm-hmm.
sucks. But it's like, you know, I'm willing to make that risk. But sometimes you say it like I'm willing to make that risk temporary, but you know, sometimes saying temporary, it's like, oh, 1 or 2 months, but maybe sometimes temporary is like 1 or 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you not knowing, like without setting a goal, it's like whatever's temporary for you can feel like forever, or it's like maybe a little
Mm-hmm.
bit too long than what temporary really was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I messed up because I never set a goal like for temporary because I didn't know like I even had to do that, or I didn't even think that was like uh, how do you say it? I didn't even know I was doing that mentally, like putting like work first.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's something where it's like, okay, now I have to really prioritize like what's really important or not.
Yeah.
Because I guess I already like built the skills and like the trust with these people, so it's like I can now like take a step back and put, you know, family first instead of
Mm-hmm.
like I already did the sacrificing now. So that's something that's good. Back to your ASMR, and that'll be the last thing, and then we can wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
What's like your like what's the future for like the A? Like I know that it you see it more as a passion, but like let's say if you still wanted to do it the passion in the future, what's like goals that you would want to like record with, or would you want to do like an ASMR with like a collaboration with somebody, just whispering to each other?
I would love to do a collaboration with someone in real life. That would be a dream, especially if they were like combing my hair. That's like,
So and so the vision that you have for that video, you're sitting down with the mic, whispering, facing that way, and then someone's behind you whispering in another mic, or it's just
I
touching the
think it's
hair.
just like one mic. The way I envision is just one mic. And then maybe I'm either facing or not facing the camera, but the main focus is that my hair is getting brushed.
Okay.
That would be my ideal collaboration. Um,
Are there certain brushes that people like
no, I
care for, or
mean,
it's just any?
it's just any like comb, brush. I think they're all good.
And then as far as the mic, like it needs to be right underneath like the hair where it's going over it, or it just needs to be near the
It
hair.
just needs to be
Oh,
near the
okay.
hair. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, the Blue Yeti is pretty sensitive,
Hmm.
so like it'll get all of the nice sounds.
So
And then like some people, I think like another thing that would be really cool would be to have two Rode mics. Because I like this how those sound because I've seen creators who have Rode mics and they have one in each side, right?
hmm.
And I like how that sounds, but I don't know, like sometimes I'm like, that looks nice, it sounds nice, but I also just really love the Blue Yeti. It's so simple and it's just one mic, like you don't need
Yeah.
much. And for someone who does that as a hobby, like it's really convenient. Like I don't need to set up like two mics and stuff. And I think if I had like my own like house and I had like a little studio set up, then it would be different. But because I don't have that situation, it's kind of like I'm gonna pick what is most convenient
Yeah.
and like less, like it takes up less space.
Yeah. And if you do the two mics, then it's like more work for you, and
Yeah.
then it starts to feel like a job. But like, fuck, man, let me just
Yeah.
go back to one mic. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that's the one thing. So damn. And then like for a collaborator, is there someone that you want to do it, or just be in? Did they have to be in the field, or just a friend?
Um, that's a good question. I would love to do it with a friend, but I do have a ASMR creator friend.
Okay.
Her name is Rose ASMR. We've never met, but she actually is pretty local, and so we have talked about potentially doing something together. And so I'm really hoping we could plan something out. But her, I think she would be great.
What's stopping that?
I
You
don't
guys
know. I think it's
communication?
just communication.
Okay.
Yeah, just communication and scheduling and all of that. Another creator that I would absolutely love to collaborate with, which I don't think it's ever going to happen because I don't even talk to them, and they have like I think they have like 1 million subscribers already.
No,
But
you'd be surprised.
it's Goodnight Moon. She is just like I love her whisper like so much, and I've seen a video where she did ASMR on someone, and it was like one of my favorite videos. Like I would watch it all the time. I think she unlisted it though, because I don't see it anymore.
She
Or she put it
ASMR
on
someone?
private.
What does that mean?
No, she did it on someone. So like she, sorry, that's probably it sounds so weird.
No, 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 you're fine. I mean, I just want to.
But basically, it just means you're making sounds for that person to get ASMR, the person that's on camera with you.
Like whatever,
And
like their triggers.
yeah, or just whatever. I think like the video that I had seen of hers, she was with like her partner at the time, and who just so happened to be another ASMR creator. And so she was just kind of doing like various sounds and like whispering with him. And I think he was the one who was wearing like the earphones so he could listen to the sounds and stuff. Um, but yeah, I like that kind of concept, and I think she would be great at it.
Does
But
ASMR get like a bad rep?
yes, yeah.
For what though?
It like a lot of people think it's very sexual, and there is like a sexual side to it. Like I totally get it. But yeah, like people kind of automatically think that all ASMR artists are trying to like turn someone on or whatever, and that's not always the purpose.
So tingles aren't sexual. They're just like something
Tingles
that
are not sexual, no. Like,
it's like
it's
kind of
like
like goosebumps, right?
yeah, it's like
Kind of like that.
goosebumps. Yeah, it's like goosebumps. But I can't speak for like everyone because I think I was telling you this the other day, but like everything can be a fetish
Yeah.
to someone. And so even though like your intention is not to do that, there's going to be someone who's is probably watching your content to
Did you
do
want to
other
go in
things.
details on that?
Sure, if you
On
don't
that part, you
mind.
know, it's on about what you had told me about your videos.
The stomach growling?
Yeah. Well, you said it
Um,
already, but
yeah, so basically, yeah, so like I had said, I I I've done videos where you could hear my stomach growls. Like I said, the Blue Yeti picks up everything. And so you could hear them, they're super loud. And the first time that this happened, it was accidental. Like I had the stomach growls and then I felt bad because they were so loud and like obnoxious. And so I put it in the description like, oh my bad, like there's some stomach growls in this video. I'm so sorry, this is so embarrassing. Like that was that, right? And like I don't even think it was like immediate, but it was like soon after. I started getting comments about like, I like those stomach growls. This sound is great, and they would link the part where you
dang.
could hear the stomach growls. And I even got like some people DM me about the stomach growls, and I was like, this is weird, okay. And like I didn't realize that was a thing. And then it was during this time that I started seeing these videos of girls who just put the mic against their stomach for the stomach growls. And like, that's the video, it's just stomach growls.
That's crazy.
And that's kind of, when I realized like, oh, this is something weird. Because at first I thought like, oh, they just like the sound, I guess. But then I quickly realized like, oh no, it's like a fetish. It's a thing. I don't understand. I can't explain it, but it is a thing. And so there have been times now where if my stomach is being really loud again, I will write it in the description because I know they're probably gonna find it, and I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, who cares? And like, and yeah, and it's so strange. It's really strange, and that kind of reminds me of this other creator friend that I have. She hasn't posted in like a long time, but we actually started our channels around the same time, and that's how we like got to know each other. And there was like a period in time where she made one video where she was smoking a cigarette,
Hmm.
and it got so many views, like it was ridiculous. And because she got so many views and like requests to do more of it, she kept doing videos where she was like talking and like
Mm.
smoking a cigarette or whatever. And come to find out that that is also a fetish.
People
And
smoking cigarettes?
smoking, yeah, smoking
Wow.
cigarettes, yeah. And so then like when she kind of realized that, I think like soon after she stopped for a while. And I think also because she didn't want to just do that, and she was kind of going down that lane where like she was going to end up doing that for the longest time, but she just stopped. So,
Yeah, it's good to like be aware like if I continue to do this, I'm gonna be known for that, or
mhm.
like I'm gonna be stuck in that box where it's like I have to do that to make money
Mhm.
or just to get any type of views. So it's
Yeah.
good to take that risk where it's like, all right, let me just try something new or go back to what I used to do.
Yeah. I haven't told you everything, Andrew.
About
I
what?
have not told you my darkest secret.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I have an OnlyFans. And I think this is a good like segue into that because like I've been thinking a lot about like, oh, do I want to keep doing this? And I it's an ASMR like related one, but that's where I do like the mouth sound
Mm.
videos, and like stuff that I just don't want to do on my channel anymore. But I've been thinking about that too of like, do I want to keep doing that? Like, I don't think I do.
Do those perform well on your account?
On my OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
So I have about like, I think right now I have about like 220 subscribers on OnlyFans. I do have a free account where people pay for view, so they just pay for whatever video that they want. And I don't think I have like a huge following or anything. I also don't post consistently on there. It's very rare when I do. So I don't make a lot. Like the when I do post a new video, I probably make like a few hundred a month. Which I mean, it's good for like groceries, right? For
Mm.
like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not like a living. And that's like another thing. It's like, yeah, it's like some extra cash that helps, but I don't know. It's like I kind of want to dive into other creative endeavors
You
and
can.
also put like more effort into my channel. I think like that's one of the things that I've been leaning in towards lately. It has been more of let me just focus on the channel instead because I think I have like way more fun on my channel than on OF.
Yeah. And then so like you're traveling, like once you go somewhere else, I don't
Hmm.
know if you want to go into that, but uh, how would you be able to do the account? It'd be the same thing, or like, are you could you be more consistent with that, like when you
When I
move?
move, that would be great. So, I think it kind of depends on where I move
Hmm.
in particular because like it's so weird, but like it really depends on the neighborhood that I move into because if it's like a quieter neighborhood, I can obviously see myself still continuing it. and maybe even being more consistent, because a lot of times what prevents me from filming is sound.
Mm.
Like, it's really loud, there's fireworks,
Yeah.
there's dogs barking, like all this stuff. And so if I like manage to find a place like somewhere in a quieter neighborhood, I could definitely see myself filming more, and maybe even having a better sleep schedule, because I don't have to film
Yeah.
super late at night, because that's what I have to do now is like I have to wait till like after 10 p.m. to film anything. And so it would be nice to live somewhere where I could film earlier in the day, but I don't know, it just kind of just
Have you
depends.
thought about like buying those soundproofs,
I just, I,
like squares?
I don't think I care enough
Mm.
to consider that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, if you ever do decide, you just buy those soundproof.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sucks, so you gotta buy tape, but maybe like there'd probably be like maybe a soundproof box, and then you can probably still like put a camera through the other side, and then you could just like put everything inside like that box, because they have like display boxes that people take products, like big old boxes. We have one at our office, so it's like we just put products in there, we just take photos. But maybe you just like, and you can put, there's like a hole for the camera, so you can put a camera there and then still like just like maybe just isolate the sound literally in that small box. It's an idea. I don't know. It's something that you can maybe look into, but yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but what's last question? Like, what's a way to be like different, like innovating on ASMR? Or you can't really. It's just finding your own audience.
Um, no, I think you can be, because I've seen many creators who have done different things. I think like the simplest thing could be just like creating your own trigger, right? Like there was a creator who basically there's a trigger called the fishbowl effect, I believe. And basically what it is like it's like pretending that you're putting like a fishbowl or like some type of bowl on top of like someone's head.
Uh huh.
And then when you do that, like when you do the movement and like pretending that you're putting this on someone's head, you start like you're talking normal, but then you start making mouth sounds because they can't hear you because of the fishbowl. So that's the fishbowl effect, right? That was started by an ASMR creator, and she did the first video where she was like, "Oh, this is an effect that I'm doing and I like," and then it was so good that other people started doing it. So that is like probably one of the simplest ways that you could be innovative in the ASMR community. The other ways that people have been innovative have just been like the effects that they use in their videos. And so green screens are very popular in the ASMR community. ASMR creators, they create role plays, right, where they pretend they're someone or something or whatever. And a lot of times these creators, they use green screens to, so you could feel like you're actually
Oh, okay.
in the
The full
this
experience, yeah.
yeah. And so they use green screens, and so that was like that's still very big. But there have been creators who have upped it a little bit and have really like made films essentially, and the effects that they put in it, the it's just so much work, like so many things. Like there is one creator, her channel name is Atmosphere. Highly recommend if you like ASMR. But she will film these videos that are like movies. Like it's crazy. Like the effects that she does, the costumes, like it is so crazy. And then like sometimes one of my favorite videos of hers is a video where it's set in a tailor shop, and there's three people, and the three people are her in the same like
I get you.
shot.
Yeah.
And it just like baffles me that like she did that all for ASMR. And so I think those are the ways that other creators have been innovative. I'm not really into making videos like that myself, but it's really cool to see. It's still like very impressive and be like, oh wow, like you put so much work into this ASMR video. Like that's so cool. But yeah, those are like the ways that I've seen it, like seen people be innovative, and I don't like I don't foresee that changing. You know, there's always like new people are coming up with like new triggers and stuff. Like I don't know if you've ever seen on TikTok those like slugs that make sounds. There's like these little rainbow plastic
Oh
slugs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that was for like ADHD or
It is, but they've been used a lot for ASMR. Like it's a trigger, like the
okay, I've
sound
seen
it
them. Yeah.
makes.
Okay.
And so that's like another thing, you know, it's like that didn't exist when I started my channel. And now it's like a thing that people use in ASMR videos.
Dang.
Yeah.
Is there opposite like where people like to hear like stuff that makes them like when people are like screeching like chalkboards?
Oh, I
Is there
don't
like the
know.
opposite effect where people like to feel like I hate this sound, but I
What? I don't, do people, I don't know. I
well,
really
you know
don't
what I'm
know.
talking about? They're like the people that like to get hurt or like they like to hurt themselves. What is that called? Um, I don't even know what they're called. But yeah, if I thought there would have been a community for that.
Maybe there is, but I don't know of it.
All right. Well, I think we got everything. Well,
Okay.
thank you for talking about your ASMR.
Thank you for
I learned
having
a lot
me.
about the triggers and uh, tingles. And then,
Mm-hmm.
well, thank you. And
No
yeah, we'll
problem.
talk to you
Thank
soon.